Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Gary King and Louise Turner live on Tendo. Good morning. We are here to chat about why you need awards as part of your marketing strategy.
That's right.
Interesting topic for me, this one. Interesting topic. So, look, we hope you've had a great week. We're going to get straight into it. So, Louise, how's your week been?
Good week. We've launched a new website this week for awards writers, so a bit of a labour of love. Anyone who's in marketing will know that doing your own stuff's really tricky, getting that out there. We've got some more clients on awards this week as well, and news of some more due today, so crossing our fingers.
Amazing. Well, it's that very reason why you're sat here, because when I started my business many moons ago, I decided I needed a website, as everybody does, and I went, right, I need to sit down and write about me. And I sat down and I wrote about me, and then I scribbled a piece of paper up, and I sat down and wrote about me, and I scribbled a piece of paper up, and 10 times later, because I couldn't find the balance between too gushing, too not gushing, I mean, first person, third person, I didn't have a bloody clue where to start, if I'm honest. So you do all of that stuff for me.
Do.
And I just give it to you, and the magic writing fairy does it.
That's right. I'm not sure anyone's ever called me the magic writing fairy before, but I'll have that.
That's your new name. So look, for all those that know me well will know that Louise does 99% of my copies, anything to websites, blogs, email sequences, you name it. Louise is an expert writer. But one of the things that Louise does, apart from writing, which she loves doing, is helping clients to enter and win awards, and that's what we're chatting about today. So, question for you. I see loads and loads of businesses now saying award-winning this, multi-award winning that. It almost feels like if I haven't got an award, I'm kind of missing out and I'm just not worthy, I'm not good enough. But then I see a lot of people commenting on social media to say that, well, these awards are bullshit because you've paid for a table at Black Tie dinner and you've won an award as a result, and so it's not really credible. So just tell me, what are your thoughts on what's credible and what isn't credible?
I think you're right. There's a lot of awards out there that are easy to win or easy to acquire. There are some awards that just say, do you want an award? Send us 350 quid. We'll send you your stuff. For us, good quality awards have got a few things. So they've probably got either an industry body, one of your professional membership organisations, something like that, or a trade magazine backing them. So that's probably one of the things that we look for. They've got a transparent judging process. So they've got people on the judging panel who are very clearly experts in the stuff that you want them to judge you on. They're not just, playing golf with the head of the person that's running the awards. And they're also, and this is a really critical thing for me, they're valued by the people you're trying to impress. Because I could go off and win my professional institute's the Chartered Institute of Public Relations. If I go off and win an award from the Chartered Institute of Public Relations, but my clients say, but we don't really care about that, then why have I spent my time and my energy doing that? So we came across some awards recently that a client asked me to investigate that were run by, it turned out they were social media awards, and several steps away it turned out they were run by another social media agency. So why is a social media agency running a set of social media awards? It's funny, isn't it? Why would you allow your competitors to potentially win awards? Now, I don't know, but I can only surmise that it was a really great research project for them. Lots of people telling them all the great tips and techniques that they're using to deliver good work. So it might be entirely altruistic, but we all need to be real, to be honest. Awards are a commercial venture. People running the awards are not doing it out of the goodness of their heart. They need to make money off it. They need to wipe their feet. So the setup's got to be right. A professional body, a trade magazine, something that is valued by your potential customers, they're the things that are good awards in our view.
Because it's fair to say, isn't it, that a lot of small business owners waste money on marketing. What we call spray and pray. Yeah. So they're not getting results from the marketing. So they've heard somebody's getting results on Twitter, so they set up a Twitter account. They've heard somebody's getting results from writing blogs or doing videos, so that's what they do. Or they go to see a web agency who says, well, actually, you need a website. And so there's this spray and pray approach and a lack of a strategy. Yeah. And certainly one of the things I'm a massive advocate of, and I've actually set up a business as a result, is making sure you've got a marketing plan or a marketing strategy that articulates where you are, where you want to get to, and what the steps are that you need to take.
Yeah.
And so what you're saying is that as part of that marketing strategy, if it's relevant, you should be considering entering awards as part of that marketing strategy.
Yeah, that's right. I think, I've mentioned, is it going to impress the people you want to impress? So if you've done any marketing strategy stuff, you'll understand who your avatars are, what they look like, the kinds of things that they would value. So if the answer to the question, would the people that I'm trying to target value an award? If the answer is no, move along, spend your money, your time, your effort on other stuff. You've also got to bear in mind that if you're a small business and you're going to spend, let's call it 300 quid on an entry fee, another couple of hundred quid on maybe just one ticket, a train down, an overnight, a hotel, probably a day's work lost. When you add all of that up, and that's without even getting support from some people like us who can write it for you, adding all that up is a really significant cost. So what else could you spend that money on that might deliver you more guaranteed results? Because there's no guarantees from an awards point of view. You could spend your 350 quid and get nowhere, and that would just be sunk. Or you could spend your 1,500 quid to go to the awards dinner and still not come away with a trophy. Now, I'm a big believer that being on the shortlist is 90% of the benefit from a small business point of view. But we're all making choices, aren't we? We can only spend it once. We've only got so much time. So you've got to know it's the right thing to do. Marketing strategy is how you know that.
So let me just dig there. So there is this perception, and I've heard this, that, well, if I'm not going to win, what's the point of entering? What you're saying there is, that's not necessarily the case, right?
It's really not. Case in point I talk about, so same client, she entered a series of sets of awards a few years ago now, and one set of awards was her local Salford Business Awards. She got up on stage, she did actually win one category, but she didn't win the other two that she was in. And the guy that had chaired the judging panel, their process, they'd kind of been in to see the business, and the guy that chaired the judging panel came up to her at the do afterwards and said he was so impressed with her business, would she be interested in some mentoring? Now, he was the chief exec of a nationwide PLC, seriously busy guy, the kind of person who, if you'd approached him for mentoring, you wouldn't have got past his PA. And she got 6 months worth of somebody working alongside her to help shape her business, just because she'd entered a local business awards. The same client was on a shortlist for some national awards. We did a PR piece for it. She got a double page spread in her local newspaper about her business, and her biggest cost was importing, because she imported small volumes of things, and she knew this was her biggest cost. She'd been trying to get the cost down and nobody wanted to talk to her because it was small volumes. And within a week, she'd got 2 import agencies beating a path to a door, and she took 30% off her biggest cost. She didn't even win those awards. So if you do it right, there are loads of benefits. There's the network in the room, there's the talent spotting, there's the connections you can make, or you can tell all your clients about it when you're on the shortlist, put the badge on your email, put the badge on your website. There's so much you can do around being on the shortlist, a finalist, that whether or not you win is almost immaterial. Not quite, because it's brilliant to get that extra 10%, but nobody's ever asked a client of mine who they lost to. Nobody.
Well, my wife entered an award last year, personal awards. She works for a business that have won countless awards, as you know, over the last 3, 4, 5 years. But she entered award personally, and even though she didn't win, she got through to the top 10 in the UK with maybe 50,000 people in that space. Yeah. And one of the things that she said is that actually she met some great people in her network, people that are her peers that she wouldn't have met, people that she learned from. So as a learning opportunity, she said that it was a fantastic thing. So, hey, Nick, say hi to Nicola and Rosemary. Thanks for joining us. Let us know if you've got any questions around awards as part of your marketing strategy, why you need awards as part of your marketing strategy. So what you're saying there is you don't have to win an award, because there are tons and tons of benefits with literally just being in the final few. Yeah,
absolutely. And it's still an endorsement, isn't it, to be in the final few? It's still recognition externally. It's still an independent kind of set of people who you've hopefully checked out, so that they've got some credibility, saying, this is a great business. They are worthy of being on our shortlist as a finalist.
But just let me, because I'm a cynic sometimes. When you see these LinkedIn profiles that says multi-award winning this, multi-award winning that, and that might well be right, but is some of it just, I don't know, is it putting on a facade? Is it a bit of bullshit? Is it relevant?
It's tricky. I mean, it comes back to, are the people you're trying to impress going to be impressed if you win those awards, you know. So my work as a professional is multi-award winning, and I've lost track of the number of awards we've won for clients.
Okay.
But is my business award winning? Has Awards Writers won awards? Has Wordsmiths Unlimited won awards? No, we haven't. Does that mean it's not a great business? No, it doesn't. Not at all. So it comes down to your own view. I know lots of people who say, I'm not bothered, you know, you can buy an award, what do I care whether you're multi-award winning? I know other people and clients we've helped who said, I want to win an award, any award, because it's part of my strategy, and it doesn't have to be about the business, it can be about the personality, or it can be about something small, but just an award, and they weren't overly worried about a quality filter. And some people just think awards are really important and really necessary. Back to that marketing strategy thing, if you understand your avatar, if you understand what they think is important, then you'll know whether awards are the right thing for your strategy.
So what you're saying then is, with the awards entry, the time off work, the train travel, I mean, it's going to be somewhere between 1,000 and 1,500 quid to enter an award.
Yeah,
if you're a small business, that's no small investment. So if you don't win the award, or even if you do win the award, there are some additional benefits. Let's just talk through those additional benefits. So it's not just whether you've won the award or whether you've been at the top table entering that award. What are some of the benefits that a business owner investing that kind of time and money can expect?
I think one of the big benefits actually is the time to reflect and look in detail at your business and help you tell a really clear story. Because if you're going to enter an award, well, one of the things you've got to do to pull that off is to tell a really clear story.
Yeah.
So some small businesses we've worked with have said what entering the award has done is it's helped them look carefully at their business, understand what's great about it, understand maybe where the gaps are that they need to fill. So that's, you know, as a process, it's just a good thing to do. It's about a little bit of working on your business, not in your business. But then there's things like the connections that you meet, whether that's judges or other people in the room. A good one if you're a small business that wants to employ people is from an employer brand point of view and potentially talent spotting point of view. If you're in a set of awards that's within your industry and you're thinking, well, I'm looking for, you know, my next hire, my next recruit, that person's potentially in the room. So not only are you getting a profile as a potentially award-winning business, but you are then also potentially meeting people that, you know, make a connection on LinkedIn, potentially follow that up when the right time comes. So employer brand and talent spotting is another really important part of awards.
So if my wife's business, when she was on that head table with 9 other peers, if they were in recruitment mode, in any decent business, and anybody that's watched me on some of these previous Facebook Lives said you should always be recruiting.
Yeah.
So if they were in recruitment mode, they're looking at some of the other people in that room and some of the other people on the stage going, these are obviously high caliber talent. We need to just keep those on our radar. Yeah,
it's like somebody else has done a pre-filter for you and identified the top people who fit in that particular box, you know, and put their own kind of quality assessment on there and gone, they may as well have handed you a shortlist, haven't they? If you want to go out approaching people directly and this is the job you're trying to fill, well, those are the 10 people you need to fill it with.
And let's just dig into a little bit of detail, because, you know, I was having a coffee with a guy. I met a guy at a networking event last night. I was in a quick beer with him, and he runs one of this particular business. There's only 2 manufacturers in the entire world. There's one in Leeds and there's one in California. And he was saying that his next biggest issue with the stage of his development is getting the right talent. So I think what you were saying is that not only can you spot talent at these events, but what does it do as far as an employability? What does it do from a brand perspective?
I think employer brands is something that, you know, they talk about a lot in corporate world, and probably as small businesses we don't think about it quite so much. But if you're a growing small business and you've got a team, you need to not only think about your reputation amongst your clients and customers, but you need to think about your reputation kind of in that recruitment marketplace. So Kellogg's are one of our clients, and we did a couple of awards for them. And one of the ones they wanted to do was in the Northwest. And I kind of said to them, well, you know, you Kellogg's, why are you going after an award in the Northwest? And it was a PR award. And the answer from their head of corporate affairs was, I need talent in my team. I need a talent pipeline. And I want people to know that if you want a career doing what we do, you don't have to go to London. There are opportunities in-house in the Northwest. So we go to these Northwest Awards as often as we can, every year if we can make it, if we've got the right stuff, because I want to see who's in the room, because it gives me an opportunity to talent spot, but I also want a profile amongst that community so that people will go, did you realise Kellogg's have got an in-house team based in Manchester? And that was their only reason for looking at Northwest Awards.
But if I get that, and that's fabulous, but if I'm a smaller business, if I'm not a blue chip business, if I'm running a web agency in Leeds that's turning over, £1 million, whatever, I'm always going to be looking for new recruits. Is it going to benefit me that it says award-winning web agency or award-winning? Is it are potential employees going to be more interested in going to work for a business that's award-winning than not?
I mean, that depends on who the employee is, doesn't it?
Okay.
But so I would flip it and say, would you, being an award-winning agency, put anybody off? And I think the answer to that is no. Whether or not it would make them more likely to apply is very much dependent on who that person is and what they want to do. But what you are doing there is, you're applying a filter where people who don't want to work for an award-winning agency don't apply, and that's fine, they don't waste your time. And people that like the idea of working for an award-winning agency because they want to do award-winning work are more likely to apply. And as small businesses, we've got to find every opportunity we can to give ourselves an edge in that space, haven't we? To put our reputation out there and to find another reason for people to choose us and not the next web agency, the next web agency, the next web agency.
So traditionally, larger businesses are award-winning,
Mm-hmm.
but more and more so these days, smaller businesses are entering awards. And obviously, majority of the people that are going to be watching this are going to be small businesses.
Yeah.
Why aren't more small businesses entering awards as part of their marketing strategy?
I think a lot of small businesses find it overwhelming, actually. I think, there's so much to do when you're both the kind of the person guiding the business and the person doing a lot of the work. I think some people, it's on their radar, but they just find it a struggle to get it to the top of the list in amongst everything else. I think some people sit down with a form, they've identified the award they want to go to, and they look at the form and they think, they're asking me to write 1,000 words about my business. How on earth do I start? What do I tell them? How do I pull that story together? What will impress them, what won't? So I think people find that quite overwhelming. And then I think it also comes down to, is it the right thing to do to enter this award? York Business Awards is open at the moment, for example. Are the York Business Awards any good, and is that going to be any good for my business? And I just think as small business owners, we've got so much stuff on our to-do lists that naturally awards is one of the things that you can drop down if you're just out of time and capacity.
So it's that I don't know where to start with writing the copy, with what I should be choosing to enter as the award-winning piece of creative or whatever, and then it's getting it to the to-do list. I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed. Is the cost and time investment a big issue, or is it more so don't know where to get started and it's not top of my list?
I think it's a bit of both. I think there's a lot of hidden costs when it comes to awards. It's not just about the entry fee. A lot of small business awards are free to enter, which is great, but that doesn't mean that they're free because of the cost of the awards night and the downtime that we've spoken about. I do think that if you've decided awards are going to be part of your marketing strategy and you've already kind of decided that that's something good to do, actually the next barrier is the overwhelm that is just don't even know where to start with. I'm hovering my fingers over the keyboard knowing I've got 1,000 words to write and I just don't know where to start.
Right. I'm guessing that's where you come in, right?
It totally is.
So just talk us a little bit, just to put people's mind at ease, how do you help clients that want to enter and win awards?
We basically do that for them is the answer. So I believe you need 3 things to win an award. You need a really good narrative, really good numbers, and a sprinkle of luck. Because actually, whether or not you make it onto the shortlist or whether or not you win is not 100% about your entry. It's about who you're up against.
Of course.
So if there's only 4 spots on the shortlist and you're number 5, you're just unlucky that number 4, number 3 actually chose to enter that year. And the way that we work with clients is we effectively extract that story from them. All of our team are PR people by background, so we're storytellers. That's what we do. And so we figure out what that story is, and we figure out what the numbers are. You've got to prove that story, and then we write it all down for you, and we kind of present it back in a, here you go, this is the opportunity for you to just go copy paste, enter, done. That's the service we provide.
Okay, fab. Guy's just joined us. Hi, Guy. Tracy, say hello. Give us a wave. Give us some love. And if you've got any questions, let us have any questions. So we're chatting about why you need awards as part of your marketing strategy. So we've really talked through some of the right and wrong awards, why you should be considering awards, how it's part of your marketing strategy, what the benefits are of entering awards even if you don't win, around kind of talent spotting, learning, developing peer relationships,
networking in the room,
networking, prospecting, absolutely. And we're now talking about what's stopping small business owners entering, and that's that overwhelm, getting it to the top of the to-do list, and I don't know where to get started. And so what you're articulating there is you can effectively have a conversation with somebody that wants to enter an award, that's overwhelmed, doesn't know where to start, not getting to the top of the list. You can extract that information and you can submit the awards entry on their behalf.
So we don't actually do the submission for legal reasons,
right,
but we get it to a stage where the job at your end is copy and paste it onto the form.
I'm with you.
So it will, you know, if they're asking 4 questions and each question has got a 250 word limit, you will get back each of your 250 words under the word limit in the right order, and then you can copy and paste it into the form, and that's it. Yeah. Now, not all awards are online entries these days. Most of them are, but we did come across one last year where the client had to photocopy it 10 times, bundle it up and have it delivered. So just a little, I know. So basically they did the admin for the awards organisers. That was what was going on. So a little word around rules around awards if you want to enter awards for yourself. Big thing to note is the deadline. There is always a deadline, and then there's always a real deadline, and the two things are not exactly the same thing. So if you want to enter an award, the first thing we do is we make a call to the awards organisers and we say, I just want to confirm that your deadline's this, and you give them the date, and then you say, have you ever extended that deadline? So you're not asking them if they're going to, if they're planning to, but you just want to know what the past is, because a bit unlike shares, past performance is an indication of what's about to happen. Normally, awards will say, well, we've done an extension before, and you need to be thinking about, it might be a week, it might be a fortnight at that point. What you will know is an award that says to you, no, we do not extend the deadline, no way, no how, it never happens. Then you know what you're working with. So I'm not suggesting that you always add a week or a fortnight on, but just understand what it is that you're doing, because it's a really good thing. And it's a question from Tracy.
Right, okay. Can you use the same script for different awards? Good question, Tracy, thank you.
Yeah, so I think you can use the basis of the same script for different awards, but the catch there is every judging panel are going to be judging against different criteria. So although the basis of your story that you're telling might be the same, even though you might be entering just 2 Small Business of the Year categories in different sets of awards, they might be looking for different stuff. So I would say that might be, say, 75% if you've written it down, but then what you need to do is forensically go through the criteria and just make sure that you are lining up against each of those criteria, and it will never be the same.
Okay. Tracy, I hope that answers your question. I think what I took from that is, you know, your bio and such, like 3/4 of what you've got should be the same, but then you tailor certain elements to suit the specific award that you're entering.
Yeah, I mean, if you're telling the same story, so if it's 2 Small Business of the Year type awards, the story you're telling about your business at that moment in time is the same story, isn't it?
So if you're entering an award in York for Business of the Year and an award in Harrogate for Business of the Year, it's probably the same entry.
Yeah, well, it's probably mostly the same entry, but then in York, they might be more interested in your financial stability and future plans, and in Harrogate they might be more interested in a case study of a particular project you've done in the last 12 months. So you've just got to look carefully at what those criteria suggest. What you will have is a framework, I guess, at that point, if you've written one, that helps you go, right, well, I know broadly the story I want to tell them. Now I need to look at the exact things that they're asking for, because Harrogate might ask you 4 questions and you've got to answer those, and York might say just write 1,000 words. So you've just got to know what the rules of the game are.
Right, and again, that's where somebody with your expertise could come in, right? Carl's joined us. Give us a wave, Carl. Say hi. Tracy, I think that answers your question. Guy, if you've got a question, Rosemary, Nicola, let us know if you've got a question, and anybody else watching. We're here to answer some questions for you. So I had a question. So, and it's completely,
it's gone out of your head.
Completely slipped my mind.
Do you want me to talk more about deadlines?
No, I'll tell you what it was, is I think you were saying earlier, is you've got to be able to prove, you've got to be able to demonstrate.
Yeah.
So it's not just what you talk about in the narrative, it's being able to back that up. So what should business owners be thinking about in that respect?
I think that's one of the things where small businesses are probably a bit more so small businesses, you've got to kind of figure out the award that you want to enter, and the kinds of numbers that you might need to prove it, and then you need to give yourself a bit of a run-in to do some measuring, because numbers are only any use if you can compare a before and after type thing. So a number today at this point in time means nothing because you've got nothing to compare it to.
Yeah.
So I think understanding the right kinds of numbers, and what we say to a lot of small businesses is, if you're serious about entering awards, find the award you want, have a look at it this year, write down the things that you think you need to measure to prove, not just that you say that you're great, but to prove that you're great against those criteria, and then measure them for 12 months. And then in 12 months' time, that's when you do your entry, and that's when you've got your numbers. And it's things like, to kind of give you an example, my big obsession is metrics with impact. So we're not talking about, if you're a learning and development consultancy, we're not talking about 9 out of 10 people said our course was ace, because what's the impact of that? 9 out of 10 people had a good time. Brilliant. But there's no value for the client in that. There's no impact particularly. Lovely. Actually, what you need to be able to do is prove that your training has made a difference to the client. So we had a client where they were trying to help managers feel more confident in managing the performance of their teams, because they identified there was a direct link between the performance of the organisation financially and operationally and the performance of their managers. And you'd think that was, it's a fairly obvious link, but it's quite a close one. So if you've got managers that are confident to manage poor performance, what you're looking for is a lower number of grievances, because people believe that the process and procedure has been better followed, but a higher number of people who are put on a kind of capabilities path, and because that means that they are being properly managed. You should also see an impact on recruitment at that point, because you should see less people leaving, and that would save you in recruitment costs. So instead of going for the 9 out of 10 people or the 10 out of 10 people in this example who said the training was brilliant, we went after the grievances, capability, process, and recruitment costs. And what we saw was exactly what should have happened, which was there were less grievances, there were more people on a capabilities path, so they were clearly, the managers were confident to have those conversations, but they also saved £1 million in recruitment costs because they kept more people. So and that's impact as opposed to just a surface measure. So
it's a tangible, measurable transformation that then is credible as far as the awards entry is concerned.
Exactly.
So it's not something that's subjective.
Yeah, and the other example I sometimes give is a person who works for a hospital, and they're on the maintenance team, and their job's changing light bulbs. So they've turned up and they've changed a light bulb in theatre, and they've done that within the 2-hour service level agreement. That's what they've got to do, and that's brilliant. So they've ticked a box on a service level agreement. Actually, what they've done is they've enabled life-saving surgery to go ahead. So you've got to kind of step away slightly from the metric that you thought you were going after and try and look for the impact. The impact is not the lights on. The impact is life-saving surgery went ahead.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, it looks like we've lost everybody, so there you go. So I'm going to have to bolt these 2 bits of video together, which gives me another job to do. So for the purposes of people watching this, once I've bolted the video together, for the purposes of people watching this on replay, so they're now interested in writing or entering awards. They may or may not have that at the top of their agenda. They may or may not feel overwhelmed. They may or may not want to do it themselves. But hey Joanne, say hello. We're just on the back straight, actually. What should small business owners that are looking to enter awards, that have had their appetite whetted this morning, what should they be doing next?
I think identifying the right awards for you is the right first step, and they're right for you if they are good for your business and good for the people you're trying to impress. And they're the two things, because if you think it's an amazing award but none of your prospective clients, customers or new recruits value them, then actually that's not a good it's not a good award. So once you've identified them, then there's a bit of thinking to be done about the story you want to tell. Our morning, Joanne, our awards writers website, the new one went live this week, and there's loads of blogs on there about the ways to think about putting your story together, the things you need to consider. There's some stuff on there about metrics and data as well, you know, good stuff to look for. And there's some stuff on there about how you promote and get the most out of being on the finalist and winning an award as well. So loads of resources on there for people.
Okay, and so for the benefit of anybody, as I say, Joanne, we've been on live for 25 minutes before we lost the Wi-Fi connection, so we've literally just jumped back on. Twitter's got some great awards, absolutely. Are
you talking about the kind of Small Business Sunday type ones? Yeah, so Theo Paphitis does one on a Sunday.
I think I've seen that Joanne's won 2 awards, or Joanne has been recognised by Theo Paphitis twice in the last couple of weeks.
Brilliant. So that's the Small Business Sunday ones. And what's brilliant about those awards, what Theo Paphitis does really well, is he pulls a community of peers together. So if you've won a Small Business Sunday award, there's an annual event, or there used to be, that you go down to, and you can kind of meet people who are in the same space. So a lot of people enter those actually for the peer benefits, because there's not for me, there's, you know, almost every small business you come across has got a Small Business Sunday award. So that of itself is not a differentiator. What it does do is gives you access to Theo's network, to those kinds of networking events, and again, it's always another endorsement of quality, isn't it? Yeah. Pleased you've got some value out of it, Joanne.
Well done, Joanne. And we do need to grab a coffee at some point. Brian, good morning. We are literally on the back straight. We've got a couple of minutes left, but thanks for joining us. Say hello, and if you've got any quick questions, just let us have those. So anybody that's got any questions relating to should I win awards, what are the right types of awards, what are the benefits, what happens if I don't win, is it a waste of time, is it a benefit, all of those kind of things, they can obviously watch the rest of the live that we've missed.
Like Gary will piece together later.
That'll piece together, but you know, equally, post any questions for Louise. Louise is tagged in this post. Post any questions for Louise, and you can come back and answer those.
I'll follow up today and make sure that I'm answering questions. Yeah, no problem.
And what I'm going to do in the comments here is I'm actually going to paste the. I'm not going to paste that.
No, I'm going to paste that.
But what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste details of Louise's brand new website. But also, ladies and gents, you know, we're talking a lot this morning about marketing strategy, and one of the strands within your marketing strategy, which is winning awards, and we touch on marketing strategy and marketing tactics a lot at our boot camp. You've been to boot camp, Louise. Our next boot camp is on Tuesday, the 15th of October. It's about 10 weeks away, I think. We've already got 20 odd businesses signed up. It's going to be absolutely amazing. We're going to be talking about business models. We're going to be talking about pricing, incremental gains, key measures, outsourcing, key messaging, avatars, marketing strategy, and much, much more. It's I think it's £62.50 for a ticket, which is an absolute no-brainer. So look, I'm going to put details of that in the comments, along with Louise's website, which is awardswriters.com. So you can check that out, check Louise out. Hopefully this morning's been of value in 2 pieces, albeit, but look, thanks everybody for your time, your patience, and hope you have an amazing Friday and enjoy your weekend.
Happy Friday, everyone.
Thank you, Louise.
You're very welcome.
Take care. Thanks, everybody.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.